for joining the class. I hope that you're well. Obviously with the pandemic, everything is a little difficult and people have to stay at home. So I hope you are good. This is a good opportunity for me to help you learn English, and I hope that this class helps. I hope that you understand me. I hope there's no problem with the communication. I have subtitles and captions available on the Facebook. So if you want to select the subtitles and captions, it's possible to follow in English the subtitles. Also the comments in the Facebook, in the chat, it's possible to comment, but if it's a distraction, it's possible to turn off the comments if you want. And maybe tomorrow, if it's too much distraction, I can change the settings for the comments as well. Okay, so this is my objective. Basically, it's a good opportunity for me to know and to meet new people, also to grow online on Facebook, Instagram. It's a very good opportunity for me to know new people. Hopefully I can continue to work in this way. I stopped working in May because we have 7 people at home, and finally now I have a little space to continue working, and I hope it's possible to continue in this way. Okay, everything is free, but maybe your support, it's possible I maybe need your support in the future. A little donation, a little tip in the future is possible. At the end I have information if you want to support me. It's a good option as well. Okay, it's a very good opportunity to help during the pandemic, during the crisis. It's a good moment, a good opportunity to help people, particularly learning English. And again, it's an opportunity for me. I want the class to be free. I want the teaching and the education here to be free and affordable, especially for people with difficult economic situations, and especially with people who cannot afford to go to classes or schools or English teachers, because schools and teachers and learning English is very expensive. So my idea now is to help in this moment. Okay, it's a good opportunity. And thank you. So I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful for the technology. Hopefully we have no problem with the internet, hopefully no problem with the computer, and no interruption as well. It's possible distraction, but hopefully we're okay. Your objective, okay, for you, what is your objective? Basically, you want to understand native people speaking native, fluent, proficient conversation. It's very difficult. I'm totally sure it's very difficult to understand people. It's difficult to understand me. It's difficult to understand your friends in English. Local people in the shop, in the supermarket, very, very difficult. In the movies, in the series, on the television, I understand it's very difficult to understand English. So this is your objective. Your objective is to improve, and I want to help. Okay, maybe for your job, maybe you need English for your job, for your career, or maybe for social purposes, for friends, relationships. So English for you is probably very important, and I understand, and I want to try to help. Okay, it's possible for study at school or university. Maybe you need English for university to develop, to progress, and hopefully this is a good chance. Okay, also you want the best economic situation. You want to learn English the best economic possibility. Also aprender, learn a lot, and very, very clear, and you want a routine and regular. So this is your objective, and that's my objective. Okay, so today I want to show you the introduction, because every day we have an introduction document. So the structure for the class today, I will show you the structure. Here we have introduction. Okay, first the grammar, concept, explanation of the technical vocabulary. It's very important at the beginning to explain the technical concepts, because during the class I speak about technical concepts a lot. For example, noun, adjective, adverb, modal verb, past perfect, present perfect, conditional, prepositions, phrasal verbs, idioms. We have a lot of technical vocabulary, and it's necessary at the beginning to understand and for me to explain the technical vocabulary. Okay, maybe we will continue with the article from yesterday about Sao Paulo. So probably we will continue with the analysis of the vocabulary and the grammar in the article in particular. Also, we have the list for phrasal verbs. So we will continue with the list of phrasal verbs and also the list of idioms. We will continue little by little, okay? And speaking, it's an opportunity for you, if you want, again, to record, grabar in Español, to record a monologue of you, a video, speaking in English for maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and after NVR, send the video to me, and I can correct and give you advice and opinion for the conversation and the speaking. For me, it's a very good idea, okay? That's possible. Okay, good. So this is the company on the left. This is my picture. I'm working for 11 years and I'm self-employed. This is just apology if it's very difficult to understand me. I'm sorry if it's difficult to understand me. I hope it's very, very clear. This is the social media, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube. And also for the support, if you want to support me in the future, I can give you the information here for PayPal, Bizum, a little donation at the end if you want, if it's possible. Okay, so today I'm going to show you the introduction. Well, this is my dog today. So it's snowing here at the moment. It's very, very cold, and this is snow. And this is my dog this morning, and he's not very happy. But also you can see the video. I'm curious if you can hear the sound. So he's very, very loud and barking. So that's just a good example of the dog. And sometimes he's beside me and we can hear him. Okay, today, this is the introduction document, and it's very, very important. Every morning it's very important, and I want to explain. So we have one concept, one area, use of English. The second area are the tenses or the times, and the third area is the grammar concepts and grammar ideas. Okay, so in use of English, in my opinion, this category is maybe the most important category when you are learning English, particularly to understand fluent speakers. This area is very, very important. For example, accents. We have different accents from around the world. Accent in Ireland, accent in England, accent in Scotland, in the United States, in Australia. Very, very different and very difficult to understand the accents. Okay, this is a big part of learning English. My recommendation maybe is to listen to a lot of different types of English, the radio, television, movies, friends. It's very important, the different accents. Okay, we have the concept of a phrasal verb, and phrasal verbs are so common in English. They're very, very fundamental. In Spanish, they don't exist. In other languages, Portuguese, I don't think they exist, but in English they are very important. And basically it's a verb and a preposition. It's possible literal significance, and it's possible a second or a double significance. And one example is the verb to come. Okay, come to the shop, come to Dublin, come to Rome. But the preposition across, go across the road, and together, come across is literal. Come across the road, number one, but the second significance is to find. So in my room, I am cleaning my room and I come across a book. This means to find or discover unexpectedly, and that's the significance of the phrasal verb to come across. We have many, so many phrasal verbs. We have a long list, and they're really important to understand because we speak very quickly, very quickly with the little word, and it's so important to be familiar with the little words and the phrasal verbs. Okay, the next area are idioms. So idioms and expressions, frases hechas in Espanol and Portuguese maybe. So they're very important expressions for conversation and with family, with friends. It's very normal to communicate with expressions. Very normal and very important. And also we have a long list of idioms. We have a lot of idioms and expressions. So for me, this area is very, very important to study and to understand. Okay, conversation and pronunciation. So yes, of course, pronunciation is important. Sometimes it's not phonetic in English, sometimes it's irregular. Spanish is very phonetic, but English sometimes is irregular with the pronunciation, and during the class I try to help with the pronunciation, to explain and to identify the problems. Okay, conversation. To improve English, it's very important for you to try to practice with somebody in conversation with English. It's very, very important. Okay, it's a big part of practicing, and hopefully I can help in the future with speaking. Okay, the next area are tenses, or the different times in English. So when we speak, we have different tenses and different times in English, and in other languages it's the same, but I want to introduce some concepts first. So basically we have the simple, we have the present simple, one moment in the present, one action. We have the past simple, one action in the past that's finished. The regular is ed. Okay, for example, look, looked, ed, regular. But we have a lot of irregular verbs in the past, and this is a big issue, that we have a lot of irregular verbs in the past simple, present simple. Future simple is will be, I will be, you will have, you will go, you will meet. So the future simple, present simple, past simple. We also have the concept of the continuous, the present continuous, one period in the present that's continuous. The action, the construction is the subject, the verb to be, and the ing. For example, I am eating, I am drinking. That's the present continuous. Future continuous, I will be eating, I will be going, I will be speaking. Past continuous, I was eating, I was going, I was speaking. Okay, so simple, continuous, and the perfect. We have the present perfect, which is one period. The action started in the past and it's finished, but it's relevant to the present. That's the present perfect. It started in the past, it's finished, but it's relevant to the present. For example, the construction subject, I, extra verb, have, I have eaten, participle. So it started in the past, I have eaten my breakfast this morning, it's finished, but it's relevant to now because now I am not hungry. That's the present perfect. The past perfect is the period in the past, usually before another action in the past simple. And the subject first, the extra verb have in the past, had, and the participle. I had eaten my breakfast when my friend contacted me, past simple. So the past perfect is usually a period in the past before another action in the past simple. Okay, it's possible the future perfect as well. I will have eaten, I will have gone. And they're the most important tenses or times. The simple, the continuous, and the perfect. Okay, unlike the asafalta in the aeroplane where they do the directions. And that's the most important concept for the tenses and the times. We have the idea of the infinitive. So the infinitive in English is the base form of the verb to eat, to go, to drink, to have, to meet, to. So the infinitive in English is to eat, to go, to drink. In Spanish it's para beber, para comer, para hablar. So in English the infinitive is to. The conditionals, the concept of the conditional is very important in English. The theory is a little heavy in the book. The theory is a little difficult to understand, but in reality it's a little more flexible. Basically it's connected to if. If it rains today, I will go to the shop. If I met my friend yesterday, I would have spoken about my news. Okay, so basically it's connected to if and the different tenses, the different times that we use with the conditional. It's heavy with the theory, but just to be conscious and to be aware of the concept of the conditional. Okay, the active and the passive is also very important. So the structure of the active in English is the subject, the verb, and the object. Okay, active. And the passive is the opposite position. The passive, the object comes first, the subject is at the end. We have an extra auxiliary verb to be and the participle. It's just a structure, and it's a little advanced, but it's very good and impressive if you can use it very well. It's very impressive and very good. Here is one example. The man kicked the ball. So the man is the subject, kick is the verb in the past simple, and the ball is the object. That is the active, and the passive we change the position. So the ball is number 1. Extra verb is necessary to be, auxiliary extra verb to be in the past was, because this verb is the past, participle, kicked by the man. Just one concept and very important, the active and the passive. Okay, now we have more concepts in relation to grammar. For example, the noun or a substantive. A noun or a substantive is basically a thing, a person or a place. Hand, my hand, it's a substantive. Jacket, table, chair, the cosa, the thing is the substantive. Every substantive in English needs an article, and the article in English is a or the. A house or the house. A is the indefinite article and the is the definite article. We have one exception when the substantive begins with a vowel, a, e, I, o, u, it's necessary an. The majority of the time it's necessary an when the word begins with a vowel, okay? They are the articles connected to the substantive and the noun, okay? With the noun and the substantive, we have the concept of countable and uncountable. Is it possible to count the noun, or is it possible not to count the noun? For example, telephone, 1 telephone, 2 telephones, 3 telephones. Yes, it's possible to count the telephone. Water, is it possible to count water? 1 water, 2 water? No, because we count 1 bottle, 1 glass of water, 1 bottle of water, 1 litre of water. But water, it's not possible to count. So water is uncountable. Water, chocolate, air, money, uncountable. And countable are the other possibilities, pens, books, computers. This is important, particularly in relation to how much and how many. How much is related to uncountable, how much water, how much time, how much chocolate, and how many is connected to countable. How many books, how many bottles, how many pens. Just important to have the concept in mind, okay? The adjective describes the noun. So the house is the noun, the is the article, the house. Big is the adjective. So big is before, adjective is before the substantive. Big house, small car, happy person, adjective, substantive. I think in Portuguese, in Spanish, the position is the opposite, okay? But in English, the adjective is before the substantive. That's the concept. The adverb describes the verb. So the verb to run, to go, to speak, it's necessary the adverb to describe the verb. To run quickly, to speak softly, to meet quickly, okay? And normally the ly is the suffix for the adverb. Normally the suffix of the word is ly. That's the regular adverb, but we have other words that are also adverbs. For example, adverbs of time: already, now, yet, still, soon. The modal verb is a very important concept in English, and here is a list of modal verbs. For example, can, could, may, might, shall, should, ought to, must. They are the most common. Basically, can is permission and ability. I can play tennis, I have the ability. I can speak Japanese, it's my ability. Permission, I can enter the competition. I can meet my friend, permission, okay? Could, may and might is for question. Could I go to the shop? May I go to the shop? Might I go to the shop? Is a question, but also possibility. I could meet my friend, it's a possibility, it's an option. I may meet my friend, it's a possibility, it's an option. I might meet my friend, possibility, option. And basically the difference, may and might are probably a little more formal and a little more polite. That's the basic difference between the three, okay? But in reality they're very, very similar. Shall is a little formal and a little older English, and it's connected to should and will. So shall we go to the cinema is a question. Will we go to the cinema? Should we go to the cinema? It's a little formal and a little older English. Shall. Should is typical for advice. Consejo in Espanol. Advice or recommendation. So I advise you, you should study more. You should run the marathon. You should speak to your friend. It's my advice and my recommendation, okay? Ought to is the same as should. ought to is recommendation and advice. It's a little more formal and a little older. You ought to go to the shop. You ought to run the marathon. It's my advice, my recommendation, and it's a little bit difficult for the pronunciation. The G is silent. Must is obligation. You must speak to your friend. You must collect the children. You must talk to him. Obligation and necessary. Similar to have to. Tener que in Espanol. You have to. The rule, after the modal verb, the next verb is the infinitive, but we eliminate to. So the modal verb, the next verb is the infinitive, but we eliminate to. Can go. May talk. Could meet. That's correct. The error and the incorrect is may to meet. That's the incorrect error. To. It's necessary to eliminate to. That's the rule for after the modal. Prepositions. We have maybe 150 prepositions in English, and they are very important, but basically they are associated with position and movement. Okay, so my hand, the dog is in my hand, the dog is under my hand, the dog is beside my hand, the dog is on my hand, above, below. Okay, so the prepositions are related to position, but also movement. I speak to you, I go to the shop. So movement, direction, and position. That's the significance of the prepositions. Okay. Also, they are connected with emotion. So usually up is positive and happy, down is negative and sad. That's the simple connection with emotion and prepositions. Okay. One or two more. So the difference between my hat, your hat, the hat is mine, the hat is yours, or give the hat to me, or I give the hat to you. So the difference between the pronoun, the subject pronoun, the object pronoun, and the possessive pronoun. That area is very important, and it's necessary to be very clear. So I try to identify during the class this item, but also it's necessary that you are concrete and clear with the difference in your study. Okay? Who, whom, whose, which, that, they are called a relative pronoun. And basically the difference between who and whom. Who is normally the subject of the sentence. Who is that? Who is your friend? Who is speaking? It's the subject. But whom is the object. I need to give the document to whom. Okay, that's the basic difference between who and whom. Whose in Espanol is cuyos. Okay, and these are very, very, very similar. Which and that are extremely similar. Que in Espanol. Also, the difference between this, that, these, and those. This is singular here. That is singular away in a different position. These is plural here, and those is plural in a different position. So it depends on the singularity and it depends on the position. This here, that away, these here, and those there before the substantive. Substantive like this house, that house. Okay, very important. The difference between another and other. Basically, another is for singular. Another day, another week, another year in general. And other is basically for plural. Other people, other days, other years, other weeks. That's the basic difference between another and other. There is a possibility with the other when you have a choice, when you have a selection of two items. Do you want this Coca-Cola or do you want this 7-Up? So I don't want this Coca-Cola, I want the other one. So the other is when you have a choice of two and you make a different selection, the other. Okay, for singular. The construction of questions in English, do. Normally we use do for the construction of sentence, and also inversion. So can is ability, affirmative, I can drive. The question, can you drive? You just change the position. Okay, that's the general instruction for the question. The concept of the suffix and the prefix is very important in English when you are studying. And during the class I mention and identify the suffix and the prefix a lot. So for example, the suffix ance, if the word ends or the word finishes with ance, normally it's a substantive. The importance, for example. Okay, ize, normally a verb, to realize. Okay, and able is usually adjective. Ly, normally adverb. Pre is before. Anti is maybe contra. And the negative is irregular, im and un. You have two possibilities for the negative in the prefix. Just a little tip and a little help. Okay. The linkers are the conjunctions, how to connect the sentences. However, furthermore, although, as well as that, and, but, we have a lot of linkers and they're very important, and we have more advanced linkers that are impressive and we use them all the time, okay? However, even though, incluso aunque in español, and that's generally the instruction today for the introduction, okay? Writing is very important, ability and skill. So if you want to practice your writing, you can send me some writing, a different topic, and with your permission I can correct and maybe show to the class and show to the people. It's a good possibility and it's a good help, because writing is very important. Exam preparation is also possible and important, the Cambridge exams, IELTS and other exams, okay? Very good. So maybe now I continue with the article from yesterday. So the article we had yesterday was about Sao Paulo, the story, the news article from the National Geographic. The story is Sao Paulo, and the title is A Writer's Perfect Day in Sao Paulo. So one perfect day in Sao Paulo. And yesterday we began with the first paragraph, the second paragraph, and the third paragraph. So we stopped here yesterday in alleyways, and today I want to continue a little with the next paragraph, just to practice pronunciation also, and I'll make it a little bit bigger so you can see. And vamos, we can begin, okay? So maybe a little bit more, so oh, that's perfect, okay. So I was also practicing my Portuguese, my pronunciation. Estaco, I think it's estaco in Portuguese, the pronunciation. Puedo hablar en español y entiendo español, y creo que puedo hablar, pero lo siento si no me entiendes en inglés, y es posible también porque italiano y portugués es bastante similar a español. So, ojalá que es posible me entiendes cuando hablo en español un poquito, ¿vale? Okay, your next stop is Pinacoteca, the oldest art museum in town. Okay, and then here's housed in, and I'll just move that a little, housed in a striking 1900s landmark architectural building in the core of the old city centre and surrounded by Jardim de Luz garden. Pina has an excellent permanent Brazilian collection and contemporary exhibits that draw crowds from across South America and beyond. Nearby, visit Estaco de Luz Railway, a building assembled in Glasgow and sent to Brazil in the beginning of the 20th century, to admire the monumental and contrasting architecture. But don't forget to turn around, cross the street and finish your visit at the Estaco Pinateca, a part of the Pina Museum, to see great temporary exhibitions. Okay, I don't think we did this yesterday. This is new, I think, for everybody. So I will show you the important grammar. Here is the vocabulary and the grammar, in my opinion, that is important. And the first one is a stop. So the verb is to stop, like para, okay? But in relation to the train, you have the next station or the next stop. In relation to the bus, you have the next stop, the bus stop or the train stop. So yes, it's a verb to stop, but also a substantive, and typical for the train and typical for the bus stop, okay? Also here I have my notes that are possible to show you. So the verb is to stop, and the noun is a stop. For example, bus or train. Okay, so that's just a little example. Here we have the museum. So the adjective is old. It's an old museum. But here we have the comparative. Old museum. The museum is older than the other one, but this is the oldest museum. And that structure is very important. Adjective, the comparative normally is ER, and the superlative is normally EST. For example, here we have happy, happier, happiest. Okay, that's irregular. But here we have old, older is the comparative, and then the oldest. Okay, so normally the superlative is necessary there. We have one exception when we speak about people. In relation to people, it's necessary to say my elder brother, my elder sister. So there's a little irregular. older for building, older for things, but when it's family or people, it's possible to say my elder brother or my eldest brother, okay? And that's a little important irregular. So my elder brother and the eldest brother. So there's a little difference here. It's comparative and superlative, but here you can see the E. So this is possible when we speak about people. It's possible to say elder and the eldest brother. It's also possible to say the elderly in general. The elderly are old people in general. Okay, so you need to be clear with the difference between E and O. So E and here is generally for people. Okay, very important. Also, in is the preposition for a town. I am in the centre, I am in the town, I am in the city. House, yes, is the substantive, the house, but it is possible a verb to house. So it's a little creative, but the substantive is the house and the verb is to house. So the government house maybe the homeless people. So the government give the house to people who have difficulty. Okay, and here it's creative. So the location of the museum is located in the building. Okay, two vocabulary here that are very important. Striking is an adjective. The picture is very striking. The person is very striking. And the landmark building in Dublin, Trinity College, is the landmark. O'Connell Street, the post office, is the landmark. So landmark, land is tierra and mark is como marcar. So the landmark is the most important building, the most important place. It's something that you remember. This is the landmark. Okay. Striking is very important. Typical in baseball, strike is to hit, como golpear, to hit. So the adjective striking is very impact. It has a great impact on you. So I look at the picture, I look at the painting, and my opinion, the painting is very striking. It has a big impact on me. Okay, and this adjective of the building, it has a big impact on you. A very good adjective. Okay, the striking picture, or maybe the painting as well. So it's like very impact, very impressive. Be careful because we have the verb to strike, which is like golpear, but also in relation to work, it's possible to strike, como huelga in Espanol, and it's the same concept because it's impact, it's action. You decide, the workers decide not to work. This is a strike. Okay, un huelga in Espanol. So it's a flexible word, and it's also possible to go on strike, como protesting and demonstration. Okay. And landmark, again, core, in the core of the city. Okay, the next one is important. I'm going to zoom out because it's a bit easy to see, I hope. So the exhibit, the contemporary exhibit that draw crowds from South America. This verb is very important, to draw. I think the majority of people understand draw a picture, draw a painting, but it is possible also to extract and to attract. Attract and extract is the same concept of to draw. For example, an infection in my hand. If I have an infection in my hand, it's necessary to draw the infection out, to extract the infection. In the table, in the house, in Espanol, cajón. In English, it's a drawer, because the verb to draw is attract and extract. Also, attention. If, imagine, I walk on the street with a yellow hat, the yellow hat draws attention, it attracts attention. So to draw is dibujar, like a painting, a picture, but also to attract and extract. Okay, and here the exhibit or the event, the exhibit, draw, attract the crowd. A crowd is a group of people. Okay, a crowd is the substantive, a group of people, and the adjective is crowded. So for example, the restaurant is crowded. The street is crowded, very busy, but the substantive is a crowd, and it is possible also a verb to crowd. Okay, so imagine there is an incident on the street, and the advice and the recommendation is don't crowd the area. So stay away, don't crowd the area. It's possible verb, it's possible substantive, and it's possible adjective. Very flexible and very common. Okay, here it's the substantive. So basically draw is attract. It attracts a lot of people from, preposition, from across South America, across the world, from around the world, okay? Every part of South America and beyond. So beyond is a preposition. In Buzz Lightyear, you know the movie Toy Story, and you have Buzz Lightyear and he says to infinity and beyond. So beyond is más allá, and it's a preposition and it's very common and very important. Directions, here is the city centre. You need to go beyond the restaurant and it's after. So beyond is that concept. Okay. Nearby is also a preposition and it's related to position. So I live on this street and we have a cafe nearby, like close. Near and nearby are practically the same. Near, close, nearby, cerca in Espanol. Close, okay? So this is my house and the restaurant is nearby. It's in a close position, a near position, okay? I live nearby the city centre. I live near the city centre. I live close to. They are practically the same. There's no real difference. Maybe nearby is a little more formal and probably just a little bit more formal and a little bit more polite, because close and near are general, but also you need to be careful because we have another verb to close, which is cerrar in Espanol. Close the door, close the window, cerrar in Espanol. But in English it's the same word, close, como cerca, but close, pronunciation is different. The word is the same, but the pronunciation is different, okay? So to close the door. And that is important for sure, pronunciation, okay? And so nearby, close, a building assembled. So the verb to assemble is to put together. So to think of IKEA, and you go to IKEA and you buy the product in IKEA, it's necessary you assemble the product. You put together. You make. So assemble is to make. It's possible with people. The people assemble. So the people come together. And in this context, the station was assembled. It was constructed in Glasgow and sent to Brazil. So send is the verb and the past irregular is sent. Okay, so the verb is enviar in Espanol, to send, and the past is sent, irregular. Okay, so that is important for sure. And then the typical preposition is send to my friend, send to you, send to, direction, preposition to Brazil. In is for the century, in the beginning. It's possible at also, but the beginning of the century, so it's possible in because it's a time, in, but it's also possible at. So it's flexible in this case. In the beginning or at the beginning, no problem. Okay, and here we have don't forget. So the verb is to forget, the infinitive to forget, and the past is irregular, forgot, and the participle is forgotten. So forget, forgot, forgotten, that's irregular. So do not forget to turn around. So turn around. In the car, you're on the road and you turn around. And cross. So this is a verb to cross. The substantive is a cross. So if I have a cross, that's the substantive. But the verb to cross is the action. Cruzar. Cross the road, cross the street, cross your fingers. In football, cross the ball. Okay, so it is an important verb to cross. And here it's the example to cross the street. And finished your visit at. So at again is the location, the specific location. Okay, good. So we continue with the next paragraph. And here you can see the picture of the cafe, maybe. Very nice picture. Obviously Sao Paulo. It looks very nice. Nobody is in the cafe. It's empty. So maybe it's the lockdown. Maybe it's restrictions. I don't know. Okay. So here's just a little vocabulary. Deli, garage, offers. So the verb is to offer. I offer, you offer. But the third person, it's necessary the S. So the deli or the cafe offers with the S, okay? Artisan baked good and handmade bites. So good is another word for product. Yes, it's an adjective. How are you? I am good. But there's a different significance of good. Good means a product. So I send you the goods. Amazon sends you the goods. It's the significance of the products, okay? So to send the goods is to send the products. So there's two meanings. One is very good, very happy, but the other meaning is a product. Okay, and that is very important. And here, the significance is a product. Handmade is hand and make, but obviously handmade, the significance is you make the product by the hand. Okay, bites. So remember, the verb to bite is morder, bit is the past, and the substantive is a bite. So that is important. So imagine the insect, you have a bite from the mosquito, a little bite, and the substantive is a bite, okay? Is the substantive, the noun, and the verb is to bite. And the past is bit, and the participle is bitten. Okay, bit is the past, irregular, and bitten is the participle. The concept of the participle is the third column. You remember in school, first column, second column, third column. Go, went, gone. So that's the concept of the third column, the participle. Okay. Sprawling city. So this is difficult vocabulary, okay, but I will return to this explanation. So let's read the paragraph. By now, you will be, future simple, hungry, adjective. Since you are downtown, hit up. This is a phrasal verb, a bit difficult. Basically, it means to visit or to go. Hit up the Casa de Porco bar, where all the local and visiting chefs go. Okay. To grab, very important vocabulary, like to take, to grab. Caprina, Brazil's national drink, and just try the delicious pronunciation, snacks and creative pork dishes of acclaimed chef Jefferson Rueda. Beware of the lines, like the cola, the queue in the supermarket, you have the line, in the disco you have the line, at this deservedly hyped Brazilian gastropub. To fully absorb Sao Paulo's vibrancy, take a stroll and appreciate the curvy Edifício Copan, a masterpiece modernist building bearing, very important word, bearing is like carrying, okay, bearing or holding or carrying, the signature smoothly etched concrete, very difficult vocabulary. So smooth is like suave, very calm, very smooth. Etched is like with the pencil, etch, and the trophy, you etch your name in the trophy, okay. Concrete wave of Brazilian Uber architecture, Oscar Niemeyer. If you want to skip the lines, so skip is like to jump. In the movie in YouTube, you skip the movie, you skip the advertisement. Also the game skipping, and to skip the line is to jump the line, the queue. Book is reserve. Book a table, a garden table at Mani, and eat the revered, like celebrated or famous, revered contemporary Brazilian dishes of star chef, the cook, the person who cooks the food, featured in Netflix The Final Table and listed as World's 50 Best Female Chef 2014. Okay, so here we have this expression, by now. So this is a little difficult expression, by now, and basically it means at this moment. So it is simple, but it's very advanced as well, by now. Okay, and I will write here in my notes, by now. So how do I explain? The pandemic, so we, the verb to think, in the past, we thought the pandemic would be better. We thought the pandemic would be gone by now, at this moment, okay? Because it has passed a long, long time, and we expected by now, at this moment, that it would be finished. It's a simple structure. It's very common, but maybe it's a little difficult to really understand. So it means you're waiting a long time, represents a long time, and you expect to be in a better position now, by now. And here, when you're walking, the writer in Sao Paulo is walking, visiting different places in Sao Paulo, and at this moment, by now, you expect to be hungry. Okay, by now. And here it's the future simple, you will be hungry. You need to be clear with the difference between hungry and angry. Okay, so hungry is related to food, pronunciation hungry, and angry is when you're very crazy or you're very sad or you're very mad. So just the pronunciation, hungry with food, and angry, very important, the difference. Okay, hungry is the adjective, and also you need to be careful with the substantive, the hunger is the noun. Okay, and angry is the other adjective, and the substantive is the anger. But also it is a verb as well, to anger somebody. So always, the majority of the time, it's necessary to think of the family of words. The majority of the time, it's necessary to think verb, noun, substantive, adverb. The majority of words have a family. Okay, and it is important to remember. Since. Okay, this is also important. Basically, the difference between since and from. Okay, since and from. So basically, since is one moment. Since 9 o'clock this morning. So from this one moment, since this moment. But from is when you have two moments, usually. So from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. But since 9 o'clock is one moment, and from is two. From 9 until 10, and since 9 o'clock. But here, the significance is really como, as. The significance here is like because. That's the second significance of since. So since is one moment in the past, but the second significance is because or as. Okay? So as you are hungry, because you are downtown, or as you are downtown, that is important. And then downtown is the city centre, more typical in the United States. In Ireland, it's very unusual to say downtown. It's more typical for the United States. Okay? Again, this is a phrasal verb. The verb to hit is obviously literal, to hit, but the phrasal verb to hit up has the significance of to visit or to go. It's very typical in the movies or with friends in the series when you say to your friend, hit me up. It's contact me, visit me. Hit me up if you are in town. Very informal, and basically it means to call me or to contact me if you are here. Hit me up. So very informal, but very common. Okay, to hit me up is to contact me. Contact me, and informal. Okay, and again the verb to grab, very important. So it's basically this action. It's a little physical, to grab. It's a little negative. To grab your arm is bad. Okay, to grab, but it's very common in relation to food and in relation to take away. So you are in the city centre and you want to grab a coffee. It's like take a coffee. Literally it's to take a coffee, but really it's to get, obtain, receive. To grab a coffee, to grab a sandwich, to grab lunch. A little informal, but very, very fluent and very typical. Okay, there is an expression, up for grabs, and it means available for free. Very typical conversational expression. So the product is up for grabs. It's available for free. And so you throw it up and people grab. So the first person to grab, it's available, it's up for grabs. That's a very famous expression in conversation. Okay, delicious is just pronunciation, good vocabulary. Delicious food, delicious, it's only really for food. Beautiful maybe for people or place, but food, delicious or tasty. They're the typical adjectives for food, delicious or tasty. Okay, and again I'll just write it here so you're clear. Delicious and tasty. So just my typing is a little bit bad. Good. So pork is a type of animal. I think it's the pig, the pork. It's specific for the pig. The dish. So you need to be clear with the difference between dish and plate. En español y probablemente en portugués también es posible para decir plato for food, comida, plato. Pero en inglés es más típico a dish. Pero en realidad los dos están el mismo. A dish and a plate is the physical blanco plato. Okay, so a dish and a plate are the same physically, but in relation to the restaurant, in relation to the food, in English it's more typical a dish. So lasagna is my favorite dish. It's a little strange, in my opinion, to say lasagna is my favorite plate, but in reality it's a bit more flexible. But just be aware and be conscious in the future of the difference between plate and dish. In my opinion, in Ireland and in English, the dish is more typical, but it's confusing because in Spanish and Portuguese it's más plato. Okay, so here dish is singular and also plural, dishes. Acclaim, so there is a verb to acclaim, and it means to celebrate or praise. To acclaim or to praise is a bit difficult vocabulary, but here acclaimed is the adjective and it's like celebrated, very famous, very recognized and very famous. The acclaimed chef. And again, you need to be clear with the difference between chef, cook and cooker. So there's a lot of confusion in general when people speak, but the chef is the person in the kitchen. The person who makes the food is the chef. The verb is to cook, the verb to cook. Chef, and it's also possible the cook. So the cook and the chef is possible the person, but the cooker is the object. So I make food in the oven or the grill. This is the cook. or the cooker. Okay, but the cook and the chef is the person. That's the basic difference and very important. Beware of, so just a good combination with the preposition. Beware of the situation. Be careful. Be aware of. So actually we have two possibilities. Beware is the verb, adjective, but there's another possibility. Be aware of. So they are practically the same. Practically the same. Just to be careful with the difference. Just to identify the verb to be. Adjective is aware. And then this, I think, is the verb. It's an instruction. Okay, so here, beware of the lines. So also in English, in the cinema, in the disco, in the nightclub, in the bar, it's possible the line of people. So you have a line. En español y portugués, that's línea, so it's muy similar. Pero también en inglés tenemos queue. Okay, line and queue are very, very obviously the same. But I think in the UK, this is more common in the United Kingdom. And line is maybe more common in the United States. Okay, but in reality, I think the majority of people understand the two. And here it's the United States. This article is written, I think, by a person from the United States. At, again, is location. The gastropub is the location, and you are at the pub, at the location. Hype is very important. It is a verb to hype, and there is a phrase, a verb to hype up the situation. The substantive is the hype, and basically it's related to sport and everything. But imagine the UFC and the sport, Conor McGregor, the sport, and they advertise, they promote the sport, and they hype. So the hype is really dramatic, emphasize. This fight will be the best fight in the world. It'll be the most amazing. So that's hype. So it's to make something more dramatic, more attractive. Usually, it's possible it's not the reality. So it's dramatic and it's exaggeration. So in this case, it's a lot of people speak about the pub. They compliment the pub, and it has a good reputation. But sometimes the reality is different. But in this case, it's deserve. And the verb to deserve is merecer. So you deserve a break. Merecer in Espanol and Portuguese, to deserve. Very important, okay? Here we have the adverb fully. So the ly, the suffix is fully absorb, so completely, totally absorb. The next word is very important, to stroll. So the verb to walk, everybody understands the verb to walk. But to stroll is a more advanced possibility. And the connection with a stroll is more relaxed. So you walk in the city centre, no problem. You stroll in the city centre and it's more relaxed, more enjoyable, more easy. So the verb is to stroll, and it's possible the substantive as well, as stroll. Okay, to stroll is like walk, very relaxed, and the substantive is as stroll. It's also a metaphor for your job and for your work and for your day. So how was your day yesterday? Oh, yesterday was a stroll. It was very easy, very comfortable. The football match, it was a stroll. Very, very easy, very simple. Okay, so here it's literal. Take a walk, take a stroll, and appreciate the curvy. So the curve is the noun, and curvy is the adjective. Okay, so it's possible for a person. A person is very curvy, very lots of curves, and also for the street, the road is very curvy. And the substantive is the curve. Okay, so just be careful and be aware of the difference between the adjective and the substantive in general. Again, here it's a very advanced verb to bear, and it's very, very important. So it is a verb to bear. It's completely different from the animal. Yes, we have the bear, pronunciation the bear, the animal oso in Espanol, the bear, but we have another verb to bear. And to bear really means to carry. So if you carry, metaphorically, a lot of responsibility, you bear a lot of responsibility. You bear the weight. Okay, weight is peso. So to bear is to carry. And it's very typical with the baby. So the woman is bearing the child. She is carrying the child inside. Okay, so to bear a child is related to carry a child. And I think it's connected to born. This is the family of word to born, okay? And I think bore is the past, and born is related to the baby, okay? And I think it's all connected. But basically it's to carry, but also in English it's related to tolerar, to tolerate. So I cannot, no puedo, I cannot bear the weather, I cannot tolerate the weather, I cannot bear the situation, I cannot bear the problem. You cannot tolerate or you cannot carry. So it's very, very common in English, and it's also possible to stand. So I'll give you a few examples. I cannot bear the weather, I cannot stand the weather, and that's exactly the same. And I cannot tolerate the weather. All exactly the same and very, very important English. So cannot bear, cannot tolerate, and cannot stand. Very famous and very... there is another possibility. Phrasal verb, I cannot put up with. So they are all possible and they have the same significance. Okay, and here it is carrying. So the building possesses, obtains, or carries. It's possess in this case. Okay, so the building bearing, the signature smoothly etched, curve, wave. So signature, the verb is to sign, como firmar, sign the contract, but the substantive is your signature, como autograph, your signature. And it's related to the architect, that's his typical style, that's his signature style. Okay, so the verb is to sign, firmar, sign a contract, and signature is the substantive or the noun. But be careful because the pronunciation, the G is silent. So the G is silent, to sign. Okay, and we have another verb that's very similar appearance, to sing. Completely different, but very similar with the letters. To sing is when you, like Beyonce, or you sing. Okay. Etch. Okay, so the verb to etch is very similar to write, but it's more associated with maybe metal. So for example, my ring, the picture is etched on my ring, so it's more draw in relation to metal. Okay, it is possible to say you have pain, tienes dolor, you have pain etched on your face, like written on your face. So it is possible. It's very advanced, but it is possible. For the children, they have the game Etchy Sketchy. It's the name of the game for the children when they draw on the computer and then it disappear. So that's possible, Etchy Sketchy. The pain is etched on your face and the game is Etchy Sketchy. But obviously not very important really, because also the verb is to sketch, which is very similar to draw. Okay, and Etchy Sketchy, I don't know why that's the, I think it's no problem for the moment. Okay. And then smooth is very important as well. So smooth is the adjective. Yes, it's also a verb to smooth, but here you can see the ly. So in this case, it's the adverb connected to the verb etched, because etched we have regular ed, so it's the past simple, and smoothly is the adverb. Okay, remember the adverb is connected to the verb, but the adjective smooth is very common for the water. If you are in the ocean on the boat, you travel from Dublin to Liverpool on the boat, and the ocean or the sea is very calm. We say the water is very smooth. Okay, so very calm, very smooth. It's typical for a person. If the man or the woman is very cool and very calm and very comfortable, it's possible to say you are very smooth, you are very cool. Okay, so it is very typical in conversation and very normal. For example, the table with the madera, with the wood, it's very smooth table. The skin is very smooth. Okay, and it is important. And we have a different verb to soothe, which is completely different, and it's to make the pain a little bit less. So I take medicine to soothe the pain. Okay, so it's to make the pain less, to soothe the pain. So that's completely different, but just obviously it's maybe it looks similar. Okay. And then again, to skip. So the verb to skip is the exercise in the gymnasium. You skip the skipping rope. The skipping rope, the boxing, when you do boxing you have the skipping rope. But the verb to skip is like to jump. Imagine the child is very happy and they skip. They jump. And it's also possible with the YouTube, as I said, to skip the movie, to skip the song, to jump. But in relation to the disco, in relation to the line or the cue, you can skip the cue, which is to jump. It's obviously very bad. Okay, very, very good. So that's an explanation of the grammar in one article. We will continue tomorrow with this article, but now I want to show you some examples of phrasal verbs and idioms, okay? So every day I want to continue a little with phrasal verbs and idioms, and yesterday we stopped with to get through. And remember, the preposition is through, and get is like arrive. So get through has a few meanings. If you have a problem, a difficult moment in your life, and you want to get through that moment, you want to superar or conqueror. You want to get through that moment. It's possible to get over the moment, but get through is practically the same. In relation to work, you have a lot of work to do. It's necessary to get through that work, okay? And that's the last example yesterday. And also, it's very typical with communication. So I try to contact my friend, but it's impossible to get through to my friend, to connect. So I contact my friend, but no answer. Ring, ring, ring. I cannot get through, contact my friend. So that is important. You cannot get through to your friend. You cannot communicate. You cannot contact. Okay? Get up is typical in the morning. So get, again, is obtain. It's possible movement, and it's possible become. So in this situation, it's like movement or arrive. So get up is connected to the morning, and it's like to wake up. So wake is more in the brain. Wake, it's more the body. But get up is more physical. Okay? And again, up is important, because in bed you are down and you are in bed, but you need to get up because it's physical to stand, and that's the significance of get up. Okay? And here the example is to get the person up. So I get my friend up. It's the same as to wake my friend up. Very, very similar. Wake is more mental. You wake the person, but get is more physical. Get up. Okay? Give away is very important. Okay? So give is the verb to give, and away is the movement. So here I have my property, I have my phone, I have my car here, but I want to give away my phone, I want to give away my car. So give away for free. Okay, so to give something away is for free. Remember the example, up for grabs, so it's available to take, so I give away for free. Okay, the second significance is related to a secret, but it's the same concept, because you have the secret here, you have the information, you have the secret, and you want to give away the secret. So please do not give away my secret. Please do not tell my secret. Okay? Give away the answer. In the exam, the teacher gives away the answer. So it's the same concept. Okay? Give back is normal. So I give you my book, and you give back my book. So the preposition is important. I give you my book, and you give back the book. So here we need to be careful with the verb to lend and to borrow. I lend you my book, but you borrow my book. In Espanol, prestar y dar a prestar. So I lend you my book, but you borrow my book. So that is very important, the difference between to lend and to borrow. So to give back is the same as to return. Okay, and I will write that here so we're clear if my computer works. To lend and to borrow. But to give back is also related to the community. So imagine in your village, in your community, you are very happy, you had a good memory in your community, and now you are a celebrity and you are very rich, so you give back, you contribute. Okay, you give back, you contribute time and money. This one is also very important, to give in. So it's related to argument and discussion. So you have an argument with me, you have a discussion, and I'm very strong with my opinion, I'm very firm, but eventually I give in. So to give in is like to quit, and it is very, very important. So also we have the verb to give up. To give up is to quit, because you try, and then you give up. So to give up is to quit, and give in is the same concept, because you're very strong with your determination, and then it collapses. So to give in and to give up are the same, really. Okay, and I will write that here as well. To give in and to give up. Typical with the child. This one's typical with permission, and typical with the child or the mother and the father. So the child asks the mother, can I go to the disco? Can I go? Can I go? Please, 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 can I go? And the mother says, no, 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 no. And eventually, okay, you can go. So to give in is typical for permission and an argument and a discussion. And here is the example. So never give in. Nunca rendirse. You can do it. Okay. Give off is in relation to a smell, como oler, to smell. Okay. To smell. So to hear, to smell, to taste. So to give off a bad smell is like radiate. So here is the dog. The dog gives off a bad smell. So on is the preposition on the dog, and the smell comes off the dog. So it's logical, and the dog gives off a bad smell. Okay. Same with an impression. So you meet a person for the first time, and the person gives off a bad impression or gives off a bad feeling. So it's literal, give off, because it's on the person, and radiate or transmit off. Okay. Two more are very typical as well. So give out is distribute, and remember, give away is for free. So I have my product and I give my property and I give away my property. It's for free. It's available for free. That's to give out. Give away. Give out is more distribute. So I work in the shop and I give out the information. I give out the paper. So it's more distribute. So give out, because it's in, it's here, and you give out is distribute, but give away means it's no more your possession. So there's a little difference, give away and give out. The second significance of give out is very, very typical, and it's typical with family and parents. So the parent is very angry, the child is bad, has bad behavior, and the parent is very angry. So the parent gives out of the mouth, so criticize, blah blah blah, you're very bad, you're very bold. So to give out is like to criticize or to say bad things because you are angry, and it's logical because you give the bad opinion out of your mouth. So it's in and out. So that is important. And here's the example. Well, they don't have an example, but they have a different possibilities in relation to be tired. So they give another example. My car, like to break, romper. My car give out. So it collapse. So again, it's similar concept. So my car in the past gave out, like collapsed. Okay, it's possible to say my car gave in with the same concept. So gave in and gave out, like collapse. Okay, so that's just a little example of phrasal verbs, and we will continue tomorrow with more phrasal verbs and just a couple of idioms for today. Yesterday we stopped at in the black. So if you are in the black, that's in relation to profit and money. So the company is in the black. The company is making money. The company is in a good position. The company is in the black. Okay. In the blink of an eye is a very typical expression in conversation. So the verb to blink is the action with the eye, like that, to blink, and the substantive is a blink. Okay. So the expression is in the blink of an eye, because obviously it's very, very rapid or very quick. So this person will take the chocolate in the blink of an eye. So I have my chocolate and I protect my chocolate, but my friend will take, future simple, will take my chocolate in the blink of an eye. So I blink my eye one moment and my friend takes. So extremely quick and extremely rapid. Very typical expression. Okay, so very, very common in the blink of an eye. In the heat of the moment. So here we need to be careful because the verb is to heat. For example, this room is very cold, so I need a radiator to heat. The verb to heat. The substantive is the heat. So this is very important. The verb to heat, but the substantive is the heat. So for example, in this room the heat is very high. So the substantive, the heat. The verb is to heat, but the adjective is hot. Okay, and that's the adjective, and it's possible maybe literal. So I am, or the person is possible very literal. The room is very hot, very warm. So it's possible hot and warm. That's one possibility, and it's possible maybe romantic as well. If you're very hot, you feeling romantic possibly as well, with Valentine's Day this week. So this is important. The verb to heat, the substantive the heat, and adjective is hot. And it's also possible to say warm, but I think warm is this level and hot is maybe more for the food. The food is very hot. Okay, so adjective, substantive, and verb. So the expression here is in the heat of the moment, and that's the substantive. So the moment, and you're very passionate, you're very angry, and you say something very, very negative and something very, very bad in the heat of the moment. Because you are so angry, this moment, you're very passionate, and you say something you regret. Lamentar, you regret. So I did something in the heat of the moment. I said something in the heat of the moment. In the moment that you are most angry and passionate, okay? In the interim is like temporary position. So you have a change, one permanent person change for another permanent person in the job, okay? Permanent position. But in the middle you have a interim. So in the interim is between the two permanent long positions. In the long run, so it's possible in the short run and in the long run. So in relation to time, the duration of time, so the COVID pandemic hopefully will decrease or disappear in the long run. So in relation to 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, hopefully the COVID pandemic will disappear. But in the short run, it will stay. So for this week, today, tomorrow, the short run and the long run. The verb is to run. It's possible with the verb to run in relation to company or to run a business. Okay, to run a business or to run a company. Okay, very, very good. And in the nick of time as well is very important, because we have a verb to nick, and it's very similar to cut. So if I nick my finger, I cut my finger. So to nick is very similar to cut. And also it's also the significance to rob. Very informal, to rob the bag or to rob the chocolate. My friend in the blink of an eye robs my chocolate. My friend in the blink of an eye nicks my chocolate. So nick is like very quick action, and it's the same with your finger. If you nick your finger, it's very, very quick. So in the nick of time means at the last moment. So the negotiations, the contract, you have a good solution in the nick of time, in the last moment. Okay, so it's very typical example of fluent conversational English. In the red means that the opposite of black. So the company is in the black, very profit, very healthy, and the company is in the red, so they lose money and they have a lot of financial problems. They're in the red because in the account the black pen is good and the red pen is bad. Okay. In the right place at the right time. So right is direction. Number one, right, but the second significance of right is correct. So you are right has the significance you are correct. So if you are in the right place at the right time, you have a lot of luck. You are very lucky. You're in the right place at the right time. The opposite, you are in the wrong. Wrong is bad place. Incorrect. So wrong is incorrect. Right is correct. You are in the wrong place at the wrong time. You are very unlucky. Negative. Okay. In tune with somebody is very, very famous as well, because with the radio, the verb with the radio is to tune the radio. Okay. And if I am in tune with you, we are on the same frequency. We're on the same communication level. It's possible, no, sometimes you don't understand. But if you are in tune with me, your frequency understands me. Okay. And the last two, it takes two to tango. So to tango is related to dance. To do the tango, it's a dance. But it's impossible to dance with one person. So you need two people to do the tango, to dance. But this is a metaphor to represent the action. It takes two people to do the action. So not one person is guilty, but two people are guilty, because it takes two to tango. It's responsibility of two people. Okay, it's very famous as well. Itchy feet as well. Okay, so itchy is the adjective. And for example, my nose, if your nose is very itchy, it's the sensation that you have something on your nose, it's very itchy. But the verb is to scratch. So I need to scratch my nose because my nose is very itchy. Okay, and that is important because in The Simpsons, you know the cartoon with the Simpsons, you have Homer Simpson, Bart Simpson, and the cat and the dog is itchy and scratchy. It's the joke, it's the name. So itch is the adjective itchy. So my nose is itchy, but I want to scratch. Okay, and itchy is in relation to your feet. So 1 foot is singular and 2 feet, pieds. Okay, so 1 foot, 2 feet. So if you had the sensation that you're not comfortable, you're not happy, you want to move, you want to travel, you're not comfortable in this position, you have itchy feet. Okay, you want to move, you want to travel. It's a metaphor that you want to travel. Itchy feet. And yeah, so 1 foot, singular, and 2 feet. And itchy is the adjective. Okay. So I have it already. Interesting. Okay, so that's a good example for today. So again, I'm very, very happy with the class. It's an introduction to grammar. We have an analysis of the vocabulary and the grammar in the article from Sao Paulo. We look at some phrasal verbs in relation to English with the list, and we will continue. And also some idioms. We have the list of idioms that we continue every day. This is the concept with writing. If you want to write something perfect, you can send me some writing. And hopefully speaking, I can improve this also. If you want to send me some speaking with a monologue, that's perfect. Everything is free. I'm very, very happy to help you in this moment. If you want to make a contribution or a tip, it's possible with PayPal. If you want €1 or €2, this is my email with PayPal. I think you just enter the account. Or with Bizum in Spain, that's my telephone number if you want to transfer €1 or €2. And also this is possible with the mobile phone if you want to connect your camera to this code, and this automatically will direct you to a donation as well if you want for €1 or €2. Okay, it's optional, but thank you very much. I'm very, very happy to teach you for free, and hopefully we can continue in this way. And have a great day. Thank you for watching, and talk to you soon. Enjoy your day. Bye bye.